Hello, everyone, again. My name is Fuad. As you know, I'm a champion of Up Collective. Every workshop, you will see my photo start like the presentation, and I will be your host for today. Thank you for keeping your cameras on. It's up to you, but like it's better to have like the camera on, I promise. So, as you know, I am the founder of Shift Up, which is an organization who deliver training and consultation for other businesses. We deliver training about understanding the lived experience for refugees and asylum seekers. We do youth participation. We do young refugees and asylum seekers leadership program and action research and co-production. All these services are for other businesses like charities. I will explain that later. Why I'm mentioning my work again, because it will be many examples based on my work in the organization. So it's now the time to talk about our goal for knowing my customer. This workshop today is about knowing your customer, guys, why it's important, and how we're going to work with them. It's based on three goals: understand your customer's problem and needs, create a customer profile, and define your customer segments. We're going to talk about that soon. Today's agenda, we'll start with why customer matters, problems, needs, and desire. What are customers' personas and segments? We will have the first breakout, 35 minutes, another break. What are customer segments? And another break for 35 minutes. And then we will have the feedback and what are we going to do next. So as you know, now we are in the first phase of the program. We started with identifying the idea, and now we're in the process of identifying our understanding the customers and competitors. Today, we're going to talk about customers. So before we start, let's explain these two terms, B2B and B2C. So B2B is business to business, which means your business sells services and products to other businesses. B2C is like business to consumer. That means services and products that delivered from a business to consumer, which mainly like the known one. I will give now two examples for each, one of them on a service and one of them as a product. So B2B, business to business, is like Shift Up, my work, where we deliver services for other organizations. And products like, let's say, printer company that sell bulk products for other companies. So it's actually selling stuff from business to another business. B2C, which means, again, business to consumer, that means services are delivered directly to consumers, which means services like restaurant, where they actually deliver the stuff for customers or consumers, and products like smartphones, we can actually sell from this business to the people or consumers directly. Some businesses work with both. Like, let's say, cleaning companies. They might offer services to other businesses where they clean regularly their places, and they might offer businesses for local individuals to go like for home. So B2B and B2C. Products like computer company, when they sell bulk stuff for organizations and company and other businesses, and they sell it for individuals. So this is like a big question. Why do you think customers matter? Let's do this. Please, guys, just unmute yourself and tell me, why do you think customers matter?
They are the ones who are paying for the service that we are providing, so they matter.
Exactly. Thank you, Huda. So they are the people who are actually going to buy our services. Anybody else? Why do you think it's matter? Because they buy our products, right? What else, guys? Why do you think?
So we're doing business to sell it for customers. So if there's no customer, we won't have a business. So
Exactly.
yeah, they are the main character of our business. Yeah,
Exactly. This is like the heart of the businesses, the business we are doing and what we are doing now or later. So why I'm asking this question? Because sometimes we a little bit forget about the customer and we think we want to deliver the idea as we want and forget about how customers think about it and take this into consideration. So just like a quick question, and I'm going to go for the next slide, but like I need to share my screen first. Here you go. Can you see the screen? It's white on purpose, don't worry.
yeah.
Perfect. So now we are going to why they are important, and we start to talk. It's literally we need to ask and talk to people who might use your product or your services, which mean potential customers. We will use what we learned in this conversation to develop, reshape our ideas and the services, which mean to create a product or service that actually meets customer needs, challenges, and providing values. So I have talked about understanding our customers, but how do we understand them? So customers in the first place, they have problems, which means everyone faces problems in their life and they need a solution. This person in here, as you can see in the photo, need to move and they have problem that they cannot move and they cannot do this by themselves. So we deliver like, we have the services for them where you can actually help them moving. So problems. The next one is needs. All people have needs. Something essential to them. Food, clothing, access to internet, sports, well-being services, learning a new language. And your product might or should like fulfill their needs. The third one is desire. So it's stuff are like not essentials. It's stuff like make customers happy, like high quality stuff, special features in some products, personal preferences, and specific values. So that's how we make sure that we understand our customers by understanding their problems or needs and desires. Now, we're going to talk about, to introduce two concepts linked to the customers. We have like segments and persona. I will start with the segment. Segments provide a view of customers group based on demographics and behaviors, which mean a group of customers. They are why they are a group because we are making them as based on their demographic on behaviors. We're going to talk more in details soon. Why they are important? Because that they will allow us to deliver more tailored products that reach specific groups. And you will know how to develop your products based and to make it attracted to a specific group, which mean for a segment. So a segment is a group of customers who have specific characteristics. While personas offer deeper insights on each individual's they might work with you, or like they might use your product or use your service. And it gives more insights in the individual needs, motivations, and points, like a main point for those groups. How to connect, and that will help you. Why it's important? Because it will help you to connect with them, and how to convert, this is really important, how to convert your early potential customers into a paying customers, to make sure how to contact this customer to make it like somebody who might buy from you. And we will talk about that soon. After we talk about segments and persona, why it's important, we want to talk about segments in B2B and segments in B2C. So how segment and persona look like?
Recording in progress.
Segments in B2C focus on a group of individuals with mutual characteristics. B2C, which means business to consumer. They like focus on a group of individuals with mutual characteristics. Depends on your product, as we said before. So for example, you have somebody who, like you do, you sell smartphones. So you are looking for stuff like where they live, their income, what they are interested in. So it's based, so we have like a group of people who want to buy a high quality smartphone, for example. So that's called a segment. Segments in B2C. So segments in B2B, which mean business to business, focus on organization characteristics. Organization's characteristic, like income for the organization, scope of work, and how they work, who they work with, depending on your business. So it's basically knowing like a group of organizations, let's say organizations that work with young people. So I consider like different organizations that work with young people, which is different than the individuals or customers in B2C. I hope that clear. So I hope like that makes sense. Segment for consumers and B2C, and segments for B2B. So let's talk about personas, between like the difference between both of them. So actually there is no difference in persona in business to business or business to consumer. It's actually nothing. But is it? So why are we saying that? Because a persona is an individual by the end, who is a part of a segment, like your segmented part group of people, and he's like one of these people. A person in a restaurant, for example, or a persona for somebody who buying from a restaurant, who's like someone with specific characteristics who want to buy food. So this is how you attract them. That's like a persona in B2C. However, in business, who is the persona in business, like B2B? It's actually the person who makes the decision in the organization. So let's say it's the characteristic of the person who is like take the decision of buying stuff. So by the end, we go in person, individuals. I hope that makes sense, guys. So I will go for the next part, and let's talk about persona in business to consumer, B2C. So before we go, let's imagine that you start a cake business. So cake is a desire, at least for me. For some people, it might be a need for them. So let's say like cake is a desire. How can you make your cake attractive to your customer? So let's see how different customers interact with the business. We have here customer one, Ruth. Ruth loved cake, but she has a preference. She believed in supporting small and ethical businesses. We have here Adrian. Adrian wants cake too. He is popular on Instagram and he wants cakes that attract more followers. So I will tell you now about two bakeries, different bakeries, and we see which one is for whom. Our first option is Luminary Bakery. They provide training and support and employment to disadvantaged women who become their bakers later. Which customer do you think will buy a cake from here? Ruth or Adrian? Ruth,
Ruth.
exactly. Exactly. So actually, Ruth will buy because they, like this bakery, satisfy Ruth's needs and desire. They do good, they help women, and by the end, she will eat cake. And as we said, like the segment, for Ruth, Ruth as an individual is a part of customer segment called ethical buyer for identified by the bakery, which means the bakery have one segment called ethical buyer, and that's how they like this is how they attract Ruth. So let's talk about the other one, the other examples. This is Tasty Molds. Tasty Mold is a bakery that creates personalized, visually appealing, interesting, colorful cakes. This bakery is right for whom? Adrian. Anyway, we have just Adrian now. But like Tasty Mold, and you are right. Why is that? Because Tasty Molds satisfy Adrian desires to try something new, fun, and cool. To show, and they will show interest for him to show interesting things that he buys and put it on Instagram, and will have more followers. So for this bakery, Adrian is a part of the customer segment called food influencer. Food influencer, they make this like identified by the bakery. And you can see each bakery have specific segments where they want to target and they want to work with. That's why we need to find out our segments. So let's talk about an example for B2B. As I said before, like you actually sell the product for the decision makers, which mean like the persona in this case is a founder, a director, maybe they take a decision in the organization, or HR managers, or it depends who take the actual decisions inside the business or the organization. And what's good about it that like if you convince this person to buy something from you, that means that you are selling your service or your product for a big group or in a bulk, maybe for the organization you are targeting. Now I'm going to tell you about my own example in the persona profile. Now you are going to work on your persona profile. Before, I will show you one of my personas. So I have here Clara, 50 years old, live in the UK, female, lives in London, Wembley. She has a master's degree and she works as a director. This is how deep we go in the personas. We will imagine what our customers will look like. In my case, because I do business to business, I'm imagining how my decision maker in this case, which is like the director, will look like. So her workday, she managed and direct a small charity that delivers services for marginalized young people. She liked to dive and train. Like this is how she traveled, by driving and taking the train. Their home life, like she is like stable, good home life. She has 2 children and supportive husband. Where does she shop and buy products? In my case, how they buy services. Usually they buy services through word of mouth and by being introduced at events and meetings. That's why I attend so many meetings and so many events, to make sure that I have access to so many people like Clara in this case. And she spent her free time reading, watching TV, and being politically active. And she communicated with other businesses in like forums or direct emails. So let's talk about her needs. So she wants to make a difference in life. That's one of her needs. She wants to secure a future, like she wants to secure fund for future projects and for charity, for her charity to survive. This is the needs for Clara. So what's her desire is to be named as a good director. Clara will have some problems with losing fund for a lived experience organization led focused. Because before, actually, this is like almost real story. We actually have, there is one organization that give funds for uh, other organization led by lived experience, led by refugees and asylum seekers. They couldn't get this fund, even though I'm imagining this character, but I know this real story. So they have a problem where they lose the fund. As a customer, she is sad when young person faces a bad event. She is angry when losing fund and when the UK changes and make horrible new changes regarding refugees and asylum seekers, which they always do. And as a customer, they are happy when she has great work and a well-known charity, and when they are excited and they have like great opportunities. I don't like to read all of it. However, the important part, like why my idea can help this customer persona. Because after I deliver training for them, they will get better funds in the future. They will have more young people that are engaging in their services. And that will remind her of the change they are doing. And that helped me even how to communicate with her. So when I'm going to show her my offers, I always go and say, let's go like show her that how important my work for her, how she can get more funds, and how she can like how my work will give her more young people to engage and to remind her what she actually cares about. That's why the important, like I'm turning this potential customers into a paid customer. So that's what are you going to do now in your breakout? You will go for 35 minutes and you will go with your mentor and you will complete all section for at least one customer persona in your persona templates. However, make sure that like the persona template is in your Google Drive. It's not in the roadmap. It's not the one you are usually now using now. It's a separate file you have in your Google Drive. Okay, make sure to choose the right one. So now we are going to go for 35 minutes. We will putting you into rooms with your mentor, and you will receive like a prompt to join the room. Please go ahead and see you in 35 minutes. So as we said before, is basically dividing customer base into distinct groups of individuals that have similar characteristic. Or as I said in businesses, is a group of organization with same or with same characteristics. So we have this group of people, and now I'm going to give you examples about this group of customers. So we have here, these guys have in common, what they have in common, they all full-time workers studying part-time at Birkbeck University, and they are single parents. This is the segment. So they are a great target for social enterprise with child care center, for example, close to Birkbeck University campus. So what such a business is, if you can see in here, is Coffee with Kids, is one of our of-turn alumni, Mariam Tahir, who is a Birkbeck graduate. She chose this because that it will be helpful for this segment. Let's go for another example. So these guys are all vegetarian and they work for the same company. They are in the office 3 days a week, and they are under 30. They don't do big, they don't got big salary. So they want affordable vegetarian meal option. So this is an opportunity for food catering business specializing in vegetarian food. Like our alumni, Turns alumni, Rebooth, the entrepreneur can, what she offered for this segment, negotiate with the decision maker to give all employees an ongoing 10% discount and arrange regular vegetarian lunch delivery to the office. So she reshaped the idea to fit this segment. Now let's try together to do this segment. Or this group. So imagine yourself like you have a business as an inclusive sport club. Inclusive sports club. Want to welcome everyone. And you need to understand your different customer segments. So we have here the red group, which are people with disabilities. These members need special sport tools, easy to access areas, and specialized trained trainer. So they will make sure they have these elements to make it affordable, to make it accessible for this group. We have here the yellow group. So the yellow group is people who live outside of London and would have they have to travel to get to the club. So in this case, you will have something special in your club, like different timing and different scheduling, weekends, for example. And you might run a shuttle service for specific areas for groups. So you make sure that, or affordable shuttle services. So you make sure that the yellow group will be at your club. Let's talk about the blue group, which is families. These members want to do sports activity with their children and family member. So your club actually can, or our club in this case, you can actually offer family discount or family membership and special events just for families. And let's say there is a fourth group, which is the orange group, which is about sports fan who don't like doing sports, like me. So these members love watching the sports. However, they don't want to do it. So you might offer them, they might offer them events when they actually come together as fans for specific club and watch the game in your club or in your sports club. So actually, by understanding each group or each segment needs, you can make sure they will all find something attractive in your business for them. And to be realistic at the beginning, you might not just they want to work immediately with 4 of them. You can start group by group. So you might choose to go with disabled people and families, for example, and you work with them, and then you can expand later your services. So this is an actual examples about segments. And now I'm going to to tell you about Shift Up segment. So what we find, like the basic segments, because I'm doing business to business work. So I believe charities and universities and councils are different segments for my work. And I'll give you example I wrote in my roadmap last year about charities that work with young people. This segment. So it's charities that work with young people. About this customer, it's charities work with young people and want to introduce working with refugees and asylum seekers. In this case, I didn't have a problem for them to solve. However, I found their needs and desire. I will start with the needs. So their needs is to bring better fund in the future for themselves and to attract more beneficiaries. So will your ideas help them or satisfy their needs? So yes, my work goes directly in shaping services. In shaping services for like to be delivered for young refugees and asylum seekers, which means more funding opportunities and more people to use this service. So what is this group desire or like the segment desire? They want high quality training that creates deliverable action to make sure that like in their services. The other one is for their staff to have a good understanding of the lived experience for refugees and asylum seekers. How my idea satisfies that my training is a quality one. I like when I describe my own work as a quality one. So my training is a quality one that focus on theory and reflection. And I ensure that the other one, I ensure that we co-create a list in every training to immediately apply in their work, which means actually immediate change in their services. So what are you going to do now is you are going for your second breakout and you will work on your first customer segment. You will develop your customer segment, as we said. What you're going to do now, you will use the business roadmap this time in Google Drive, the one you've been working before, not today, and you will find the segment part. So you have to answer, you will answer all the questions regarding the customer, sorry, the segment, as you said in my, as you saw in my example. So now, again, you will be in a room with your mentor and you will find a prompt in your screen for you to take it there and see you in 35 minutes. So we are going to start with the feedback to prepare your phone for the QR code and make sure to stay for the next slide as well. So here we go. Please scan the QR code and answer the two questions, what you enjoyed, what you would change. And we mentioned some areas for feedback, the workshop content, slide design, and is it understandable or not, document, like the roadmap you're working on, templates, breakout activity, is it long, is it short, workshop length, and any examples you think needed, more examples, less examples, anything you can think of. This is just like some kind of helpers. So now I'm going to go for the last slide. It's really important about what you are going to do in the next week. So next week, there are no workshops on purpose, as we want you to meet with your mentor to work on your customer persona and segment, review your wild ideas and choose an idea based on customer research, and most important part, to improve your chosen idea based on what you know from your customers, based on your understanding of your customers. So please make sure to have a time to book with your mentor next week to work on that. Otherwise, like understanding the, as you said from the beginning, understanding customers will not be valuable if you didn't work on your original idea, chosen idea, to develop it based on your customer understanding and your customer feedback. So please make sure to do that. And by saying that, we reach the end of the session today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was like valuable. And see you in 2 weeks.